So, welcome everybody to another episode of the Lunch Break Show. This is a Mother's Day special, very special Mother's Day special, because I got a special guest, my mother. How are you today?
I'm good.
Let's
Good.
cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. We didn't get no drink started, so we gotta get this going. I'm gonna take another drink. But it is good wine. I give her that. So, how are you feeling today? Let's start this off good.
I'm feeling good.
Feeling
Very
good?
positive, laid back. I feel good.
Okay. So this is Mother's Day 2024, right?
Mm-hmm.
First Mother's Day. Would you ever think that 25 Mother's Day from now I'll be interviewing you?
I would not. I would not. I also would like to say that I'm not that old. So, I'm saying 25. Let me slide that in there. Mm-hmm. But I would not. Mm-hmm.
So for today, it's going to be mainly about an insight into how I am. I'm here, who I am because of this person. And we're going to see how her life and the things that happened to her and how she grew up played a factor into me and how I grew up and how she raised me. And these are things that impact us growing up, and we become that grown adult. You gotta unpack it, because if you don't, it turns into trauma. But if you do, you grow from it and you become completely different people, for me, for the better. So to dive in, right, we're gonna get into early life.
Mm-hmm.
Early life for you. Where are you from?
Well, born and raised Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So hometown, always lived here. We grew up different areas around Richmond. So I am from like Highland Park. Grew up in Highland Park. We had roots in Crane Court, Mosby. So great. Yeah, we've had roots somewhere everywhere.
You're a project baby.
I am. And listen, it was something we had to grow with. But my mom, even though like we started in the projects, that wasn't the end for us. My mom saved up. She ended up having actually like 2 homes that she owned. So it took us some time, but we got there.
And that's what it's all about. It's like you start off a statistic,
Right.
almost. And then, one thing you taught me from there, every decision you make either makes you that statistic or you break out of it.
Correct.
So that's what our roots are. Yeah, I'm glad you were specific about where you were from in Richmond, because the Richmond native, if you're not specific about where you're from, they attack you about it.
Yeah.
You may not know that. That's the internet side of this.
Right.
So, all right, just a little bit about growing up in those areas for a little bit. How was it for you?
We try not to become a product of our environment.
Mm-hmm.
I did a few things in my day. Overall, I grew from it, learned from it, but I would not change the experience. Went to public school, Richmond Public Schools.
What school did you go to?
Well, I graduated from Thomas Jefferson, but as far as like middle school, I went to a few different middle schools, but I went to East End when there was an East End back in the day. Went to Mosby Middle for some time. So, yeah.
So, let's get into like more of the teenagers. Well, first, sorry, let's backtrack. You have siblings.
Yes.
You grew up with how many siblings?
It's a whole shitload of us. I'm not even gonna lie. So we have a total of, let me count. I grew up a total of five of us
Mm.
in the house. 5 ladies, young girls, no boys. However, my mom, listen, we would cut grass, we would move stuff. There was no like, oh, you can't do anything. We were doing it all. Inside the house, outside of the house, we was taking care of home. So, yeah.
And that's all of y'all chipping in on that, right?
Yep. We all had like chores that we had to do. Yeah. Y'all were what you end up having to do when you became of age.
I inherited that.
So, yeah. Yeah.
But when you were doing it and you had that house full of people, did you oftentimes, because you got all those people around you, did you feel like you needed your own space away from them, or was it more comfortable to be with them?
So it was way more comfortable to be with them. In fact, going back to my high school days, when I dated your father, he had gotten us an apartment. Being that I hadn't graduated yet, I couldn't actually like live there full time, but I did go there on the weekend. So I was so lonely. I missed them so much. This was like really no cell phones and stuff. Hey, we had pay phones.
Oh so, man, you calling this man?
No, I'm talking about my mom and stuff.
Oh,
when I went to the apartment, like with your dad and stuff, while he went to work, I would go to the payphone and call my mom's house. I didn't care if anyone did not get on the phone. They could set the phone down just as long as I could hear the noise. I just missed them. Like, yeah.
So that sounds like a good love.
I really enjoyed us being like a lot of us. Okay. It was a blessing.
So talking about that for a minute, because you're a teenager, you met my dad. But you were young. What were you, like 18, 19 you met him?
No.
How old were you when you met him?
So I was actually like 16 when I met him.
Okay, how old was he?
He was a few years older than me. I want to say he may have been like 19.
Okay.
So we used to work at a job together, a grocery store together. So I don't know if you need to hit it.
It's cool. We good.
All right, so I'm the cashier. And he came over. He was helping bagging up the person groceries or whatever.
Of course he was.
So a cucumber came through.
Oh, God, this guy. Go ahead.
So the code for that produce, and I'll never forget it, because it was a thing that we had, but that code is 4062. So that's like how we eventually started talking, bonding. I was still a bit young, but I had a birthday coming up. So what he did was he took me out for my birthday. It was just amazing. He got me like a necklace with the heart and the key on it. But he was patient. I was ready, but he was patient. So he was more so like courting me, really dating me, getting to know me. I tried to speed things up, but he was a gentleman. But he wanted to kind of wait till I kind of got of age more. So yeah, he waited. I didn't want to, but
He's a great guy. I
yeah.
can't deny that about him.
Yeah. He was a
Dad,
good gentleman. He was a
you a little
gentleman.
freak, but you was a gentleman.
No, that's because I made him. Not to be.
You a freak, but
I had to turn him out, you know. But yeah.
but I'm glad y'all some freak butts because I wouldn't be here if you won't ask.
Right. It was it was amazing. He was a good partner. I have nothing bad to say. He was a provider. He took care of home. We just had like different of opinions as far as our family dynamics. But he was a great man. I don't have anything bad to say about us being together.
So unpacking that for a second because he was this great guy, and y'all were dating. But what made you say you wanted to have a kid with this person?
Oh yeah, that was easy. So he was unlike anyone I've ever dated. He went to school. He was going to school when I met him. He was going to Morgan State, which he had actually ended up taking me up to his school and stuff because he was like a resident assistant. He was like walking me around and all that stuff like that, introducing me to people, his friends and stuff. But I'm just reminiscing too much. But so he was just like no one else that I've ever dated. He had a good head on his shoulders. Like he was in the books. He wasn't in the streets. You know, word like he was a good man.
So, you know, you always talk so good about him. You know, you always tell me that I was playing. You planned to have me and everything.
Yes.
So, if it was that good, why not go into marriage?
Well, like I said, it was our family dynamics was different. I was so close to my family that like I didn't want to leave my family. I always wanted to be around them. Your dad, he was kind of indecisive and trying to find his way in life. And I get it, granted, because he wanted to do better for himself. So I get that part. So he did a few things. As far as, you know, trying to go out for the Marines, and he always thought of, as far as like job wise, looking for a career, stuff to support his family. Even when we were trying to have you, it took months, and I didn't even know I was pregnant, but he knew that I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, I'll never forget, it was like in November or whatever, and it snowed, and I was going to clean the snow off the car, and he's like, no, you shouldn't be doing that because I think you're pregnant. And I was. But yeah, it took us months for trying, so but we just didn't, as far as our family life goes, like I said, he loved his family, but he wanted to venture out to other states and different things like that. I just couldn't be away from my family. I love my mom, my sisters too much to be in a different state. I wanted you to like experience that type of love that my family has to offer. Because they are welcoming and they love everyone that they meet. So I wanted you to experience that love and that strong will that all of the women have in my family. So.
And I felt it. Yeah. I definitely felt it. I felt when everyone used to call me spoiled, I swore up and down that I wasn't. But as life went on, I started to see I was very spoiled. I felt privileged. I felt entitled, which brewed some problems for me. And life humbled me with that one, with the entitlement. But that's how like the stigma goes usually with sons and their mom, especially in like a black household, to where it's like we're almost in a relationship. That's how they look at it. Like,
I know people think that it is a weird relationship that we have. Um, I wouldn't say, to me, in my eyes, I know I might be biased, but I wouldn't say the relationship is weird. Possibly, yes, it's different, but you have to understand when you have only one child, you want to, if you can wrap that child in a bubble just to shield them from all the hurt in the world, um, all the pain that like they can grow up and experience. I just wanted to shelter you from.
but you're saying you got the one child. I am the only child,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's a sense of this protection there that you wanted to give me to shelter me out from everything.
Right.
And there's a lot to unpack with that, but I'm gonna start with this. We're talking about relationship, and for some reason, there's a negative light with the mother wanting to be so protective over her son. Not to say that a mom wouldn't be protective over her daughter, but
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of hits different when it's that mother son relationship.
Right.
But it's seen as negative, but when I started to grow up, I wanted to make it positive because I felt like I had a partner. Like I felt like you were you was the first partner I didn't had in life to know how to do life with someone else. You set the standard for me on how to love you, and it's not necessarily in a romantic way, but it's in a way that you're supposed to love somebody or love a woman. I'm supposed to be courteous. That gentleman that my dad was, and that lead figure, and it's just you set the tone for that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything weird about a mother and son being a partnership.
Right.
Now, of course, you leave one of the partnerships because I can never repay you, woman. It's countless things you have done to me that I could spend an eternity trying to pay you back, and I just will never get there. But I feel like for the most part, what made me a good man is knowing if I would have failed, you would be there, but giving me the opportunity to fail so I could stand on my own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, that was a big thing for me and teaching me how to be a man. Because as a woman, how do you teach a man how to be a man?
Right. Well, yeah, that's another thing. Like with your dad, how he treated me. Like I don't open door. I didn't open doors, things of that nature. I I never even knew this, but even like walking on the sidewalk, for me to walk on the inner side, like that's something that he did for me. He got flowers like every week. And I
Mm-hmm.
seen that flowers like every week. So I just tried to instill those things into you when you were young because you grew up in a household with so many females that I wanted you to treat us and love us and respect us. And I wanted that to something that you would use that for your relationship as you got older as a man. So,
So now that we are at this point now of adulthood, you don't have to worry about the teenage years for me sneaking around and doing all these things, right? We've gotten here. Reflecting back on all of that, is there anything that you wish that we could have went different about, or I don't know, just would you change anything? I guess in the last couple of years.
honestly, I would not. And the reason why I say that is because everything happens for a reason. So you have to learn to like grow with any obstacles that may come. Um we have to learn to just move on, talk things out. I'm big at like holding stuff in, which I know is not good, and I let it build up. Um, but I am glad like we can like after we stop butting heads because we're both Leos and being so stubborn and listen to each other, it actually makes perfect sense because you have so many valid points that you talk through with me, and I respect your opinion also. So I like to see the growth within you.
And that's a big thing that you even allowed in our relationship, because for past generations, people look at that as like a no. You know, if you try to, let's say, just talk back to your parent in any type of way, even if you are making a point, to where maybe the parent could be wrong in a sense, maybe not completely wrong because you're both wrong, but the parent's not 100% right, and they don't take responsibility for that part and being wrong. They just try to move forward from it and not actually, lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud you because it took a lot. Just from an ego standpoint, from a trauma standpoint, being the adult, but knowing if I admit when I'm wrong, if I did something wrong, it can help us move from this and help heal our relationship for the long term. And I feel like that played a factor. So I feel like that played a part into my dad. And when in those days of starting to understand his mom's side on things and talking to him, I started to see that it's not that he didn't love his mom. It's just that he didn't have the space to tell his mom that you're wrong, and she wasn't in the right mind to accept being wrong. So they never healed from that. So it just made him want to go out and kind of forget his mom in a sense. But it's not that he wanted to forget her or he loved her any less. I feel like he just came with this chip on his shoulder to that, oh, I never had all this stuff that my mom, disagreed on me about. So now I gotta go and prove it to her, which kind of led him to trying to try so many things. Versus me, I feel like I would have tried a lot of things, but we have those talks to where it's like I didn't graduate college. I did end up going to jail, and things that it could have really destroyed our relationship had you not have been there for me how you did, and not just like talking to me through it, just saying I'm disappointed, but I know this isn't you.
Right.
So I know you're gonna be able to get through this and be who I know you're gonna be. I don't think he ever really got that. I think it was just always this chip of, John, you just need to be this great person that you're saying you're gonna be, but it don't seem like you're gonna be like that doing what you're doing. And all he was ever doing was trying.
Yeah.
You know? So I thank you for that. And we're here now. Me personally, to answer the question that I gave you, I wouldn't change anything because although we did go through all of that together, I've experienced a lot more than a lot of my peers that I have around me. And that's dedicated to you through and through from start to finish. So I just wanted to take the time to thank you for that.
As the years have gone by, a lot of things has happened. Um, and I know we talked about how you felt supported growing up and thanking me. Um, I feel the same way as far as you. Like, being out these past few years, I felt as though I lost my circle, which it wasn't a circle, it was just one person. So I felt like I lost a piece of me because this was somebody that we had promised that we would fight through our health issues together. Um, so when she passed, I kind of isolated myself and shut everybody out, family, everybody. Um, but you had a talk with me, and it was one of the realest things for real. It was like, it touched my heart and hit home because it was true. I shut everybody out, but you did say, like, I didn't allow anybody else to even be there. It was other people.
It's okay. I don't got a napkin for you. I would get a napkin for you. Come on, B.
I know. Got this. Then there was other people, like, in my corner. You just gave me hope. Even though I want a grandbaby. So I thought that was the hope that I was going to have. But the hope did come from, like, you giving me those inspirational messages. Like, I hate my voice. So I don't talk in, like, settings like this. Um, I only talk to a few select friends. Uh, so it bothered me that I went from this all sexy ass voice to this. But what you're teaching me and you have taught me, but I guess I'm trying to get back to how I used to be, but you taught me to that I need to accept it and no matter what, I'm still the same person. Um, and I shouldn't basically, like, feel bad about the stuff that I've gone through and then pushing forward each day. So I thank you for, like, having my back, being in my corner, giving me that push I need, that boost of confidence because it's something that I did lose. But I just thank you for not giving up on me when I wanted to give up on myself.
I wouldn't do that to you. But you know that. You knew
Yeah,
that. Oh, that actually brought up a great point because that leads into my favorite moment with you. Um, and this is a while back. Yeah, I'm dating you. We were living in north somewhere north side. We had just come into the house, got a little bit of groceries, right? You weren't too long getting off work. I know you was a nurse at the time. And sat down. We had some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches
yeah,
to end the night. And you told me, no matter what, I always got you. You always got me.
yeah,
And to, we stuck by that. Ever since
yeah,
then,
yeah,
it through all our individual relationships or individual endeavors, it's always been you and me.
right, that is true.
So I feel like anything that you feel like you've gotten from me or gained from me, learned from me, I learned it from you. And that's just the beautiful part about life. That we can just keep giving and receiving to each other. Because I wouldn't be who I am again without you.
Yeah, yeah. I remember, like, putting like sticky notes on your mirror
Yeah.
with inspiration stuff, like just positive stuff, trying to speak positive in you, but you also like topped it because you had to know for yourself when you went out the door that you were such. So, you know what I mean? That was something too, like, man, you're trying to stay positive, you know, think positive for positive results. I know life gets hard at times, but you just gotta keep your head high. Cause no matter what, you got it. Like, you got it.
That's wild words from a great woman. Well, Mama, I love you.
I love you too.
This has been a great experience. I cannot wait to see what John is gonna say when he get up on here.
Oh gosh.
You know you're gonna talk about you great all that. Your mama.
Well, we'll see. Cause like I said, I don't want to start too much. Being that we both, you know, have our people, so I definitely didn't want to start too much. There's definitely some stories that we can go into.
We cut the camera. We can cut the camera here. All right, Mama. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I hope you find something positive with this episode. I love you. She love you. We love you. All right.